Namaste and welcome to this 30-minute Level 1 Living Yoga Flow. You can begin your practice in mountain pose. Take the time to come in to your body and into the fullness of your Ujjayi breath, wishing yourself well coming into the practice. This practice will consist of sun salutation, and then we'll link into the swan flow, and from there we'll move into the long hold postures of seated forward bend, cobra, spinal twist, and the inversions. So we'll begin now with a round of sun salutation. Inhaling into flying mountain. Exhaling into forward bend. The inhale steps the right leg to lunge. Exhaling to downward dog. Inhaling to dog tilt. And exhaling into baby pose. Inhaling to slither forward into cobra. Exhaling to draw back into downward dog. Inhale steps the right foot to lunge. Exhaling to close into forward bend. Launching up into flying mountain with the inhale. To return to mountain pose on the exhale. Ready for the left side of the sun salutation. Inhaling to flying mountain. Exhaling forward bend. Inhale steps left leg to lunge. Exhale to downward dog. Dog tilt with the inhale. Baby pose, exhaling. Cobra with the inhale. Downward dog with the exhale. Left leg steps to lunge with the inhale. Exhale into the forward bow. Ready for flying mountain on the inhale and completing your round of sun salutation as you return to mountain on the exhale. Now we continue into another cycle of sun salutation to link with the swan flow. So the inhale to flying mountain and the exhale into the forward bend. Now rather than taking a lunge, we use the inhale for a spinal extension and then the exhale to step directly back into downward dog. Continuing through the sun salutation vinyasa, so dog tilt with the inhale. Into baby pose with the exhale. Cobra with the inhale. And then back into downward dog on the exhale to link in to the swan flow. So it'll be an inhale to bring the right knee forward into swan. The exhale then sinks down into the hip and the back leg. The inhale then lifts into the heart, and the exhale dives forward into the bowing swan. As you work into your hip here, you can either support yourself with your hands in the original position. You can come onto the elbows, or you can stretch the arms forward or back. But the main thing in the bowing swan is to use each inhalation to extend the length of the body, and then ride the exhalation down into the hip to move through the tensions. Use a natural pulse action of the breath to deepen into your swan. So once we've taken 4 breaths in the bowing swan, we then come up for 4 breaths in the flying swan. So naturally it's an inhale to make the lift. But always remembering that our inhalation and our ability to receive and open more is only ever as good as our ability to let go into the exhale. So with each exhalation, soften your swan, ground into your foundations, and then use an inhale to rebound up, to open the heart and increase the back bend. So you can complete your flying swan with your 4th inhale, and then it's back into downward dog with the exhale, where we spend a breath to walk that stretch out of the body. Preparing ourselves for the left side of swan. So the inhale will bring the left knee forward into swan, and the exhalation will sink down into the hip and stretch into the back leg. It's then the inhalation to open across the chest, and then using your leg power and your hip power, extend forward into the bowing swan, coming down as slowly and with as much control as you can. And choose the position of your hands to support your swan. And you have 4 pulses of breath now to work into the hip. Once you've completed your 4 breaths in your bowing swan, you can then use your inhale to lift into the flying swan. Once again, connect up with the pulse action and use your arms to support the lift of your spine as you move your spine towards vertical and even curving back. So you can walk your hands gradually further back towards your hips. You can use the tips of your fingers to help to make this lift into your flying swan. When you complete, then it's an exhale to draw back into downward dog. Clean your slate here for a breath, and then we're going to complete our asana practice here with the hero's pose. So it's an inhale to come into a kneeling base between your hands, knees together, feet apart, and then the exhale to sink down into the hero's pose, either resting onto a cushion or onto the floor. Take at least one inhale, then to sit your spine up, opening the chest, and then you can begin to recline your hero's posture. Follow your breath into the posture. Stay almost inside your Ujjayi breath. It will keep you safe and it will enable you to go deep whilst maintaining your composure. At each stage of your journey, draw your thighs inwardly into one another to seal up your lower body. And find the right place for yourself in your hero. So to come out of your hero's pose, it's an inhalation to raise the body upright, and then an exhale to cross the ankles and roll over into staff pose, extending the legs out in front of the body, ready for a seated forward bend. The inhale makes an arm raise, lifting out of the waist, and the exhale dives forward into the seated forward bend. First job in the pose is to connect with the pulse section. So just like any forward bend, the inhalation lifts and opens the heart, extending through the spine, and then the exhale pivots from the hips to bow forward over the thighs. We have 8 pulses of breath here in the forward bend. With each exhalation, have a sense of diving forward rather than down, so that you encourage a full extension through the spine. Use skill and patience rather than force. And you start to find that your exhalations are lengthening. Your bow is deepening. You may also be able to perceive a subtle change in your chemistry over these 8 breaths in the forward bend. Okay, so once you completed your 8 breaths, then we need a counter posture. So it's an inhale to raise the arms, and then an exhale to set ourselves up for tabletop, bringing the hands behind the back, bending the knees, feet hip width apart. We then use an inhale to press down through the feet and the hands to lift the hips. The head rolls back, and we then connect with the pulse action in the hips, using the inhale to lift the pelvis and the exhale to give. 3 pulses of breath as a counter stretch for the forward bend. Okay, it'll be an exhale to lower back down to the ground, ready to take a vinyasa to our next posture of Cobra. So it's an inhale to roll into cross-legged and onto the hands, and an exhale to step back into downward dog. So now we continue our journey to cobra. So it's an inhale to dog tilt, and an exhale to baby pose. And then we're ready to come into the cobra for 8 pulses of breath. So you can come through on the inhale. If you need to modify your cobra, then you can practice it on your elbows in the Sphinx position. But if you've come into the full posture, then the first thing to connect with is the pulse action of the posture, ensuring that there's some let go with the exhalation to reduce the intensity of the back bend, so that you can then consciously increase the stretch on the inhale. As the body opens, you can enhance and intensify your cobra by using your inhale to ground deeply into the mounds of your thumbs, shooting energy back through your big toes to engage your legs, and then using this to lift the inhale up into the fullness of the chest, rolling the heads of the shoulders back. When you're ready to offer the final breath into your cobra, then we take a counter flow. This consists of cat tilt on the exhalation, rounding the spine, into dog tilt on the inhale, and then finally into baby pose on the exhale, which you can hold for a breath to ensure the full and deep release within your spine, following your cobra. From here now, we'll be linking into our next posture, the half spinal twist. To come into this, it's an inhale to lift, sweeping the left knee into swan, and then an exhale to sweep the back leg around and into the base position for your half spinal twist. The inhale then gives spinal extension, and the exhale wraps the twist, looking over your right shoulder. Okay, try and ensure a 5-second inhalation within your twist to create plenty of space to then use 6 progressive exhalations to wring your spine out and create this deep squeeze in the abdominal organs to generate some inner fire within the digestive system. So each inhalation grows the spine upwardly, as if lifting through the back of the palate, and then each exhalation slowly turns to wring out the spinal muscles. When you complete your 6 breaths on this first side, then you can make a switch to the other side of the body. To do this is simply an inhale to change your legs over. And exhale to collapse the spine, grounding the sitting bones. And inhale then to make the lift. And the exhale to wrap into the twist. Again, set yourself up with slow, deep inhales so that you can really use the exhalation to deepen the twist. So now offering a final twist to complete your 6 breaths, and then we're ready to link in to the next posture in this sequence, which is the inversions of shoulder stand and plow pose. To come into this, it's an inhale into cross-legged and then an exhale to roll back and onto the shoulders in bull pose. Use your bull pose here to secure your shoulders, bringing the shoulder blades in and underneath yourself, placing the hands onto the lower back. Steady your Ujjayi breath, and then you can use your inhale to raise the legs. We take 8 breaths in the shoulder stand, followed by 8 breaths in the plow pose. Always working patiently in your inversions and in your shoulder stand. But as the neck starts to free up, then you can adapt your posture to facilitate more of a vertical lift from your shoulders to your feet. Do this by sliding the hands further down the back and shifting the heart towards the chin. Okay, when you've completed your 8 breaths in your shoulder stand, then you can use your exhalations to bring yourself into plow pose. You may come down direct with your legs straight from shoulder stand, or you may travel through bull pose. Again, work patiently with this without resorting to force. In time, the toes will come to the floor. Once they do, you can then straighten into the legs, ground through the shoulders to lift through the hips, and then interlace your fingers, drawing the knuckles towards the head of your mat to create the deepest possible squeeze and movement of energy through the neck. So these inversions are all devoted to rejuvenating and restoring the body at the end of a practice. Naturally, once you complete your 8 breaths in plow, we then need to counter the stretch. So use an inhale to roll up into cross-legged, and then an exhale to rest down on your elbows in preparation for fish pose. The inhale lifts into the chest, drawing the shoulders down and into the back, so the exhale can then release the neck back to reverse the stretch from your shoulder stand and plow. It's 4 pulses of breath here in your fish. Each inhalation expanding the chest, and each exhalation softening and releasing the neck. Once you've completed your 4 breaths in fish, we have our final closing posture in our asana practice, and this is Yoga Mudra. To come into Yoga Mudra from fish, it's an inhale to raise the body up. You can then use your exhalation to come into your favorite posture for Yoga Mudra. It may be cross-legged or kneeling. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Use an inhale to boost and lift the chest, and then an exhale to dive forward over your thighs, taking the challenge to keep your buttocks grounded on the heels or on the floor. Stay connected with the pulse action so the body lifts and opens into the inhale, and then folds deeper into Yoga Mudra on the exhale. So we use Yoga Mudra at the end of the practice to seal all the energy into the body. We take 4 pulses of breath. To complete your asana practice, the final movements are an inhale into arm raise and an exhalation to bring a namaste down to the heart. Your asana practice in this session is now complete, so you can either lie yourself down in Shavasana, or you can take to a comfortable seated posture. Prepare yourself now for the practice of cosmic double breathing and body rotation. So now for the 30 cosmic breaths, away we go. On your 30th breath, empty the lungs completely and then take an inhale, Bring the inhale right up into the chest. Fill yourself to maximum. Hold the breath for a couple of seconds and then release with an ah breath, letting go of all the tension throughout your body and mind. You'll now come into dynamic stillness for the practice of body rotation. Feel the tips of your toes, roots of toes, soles of feet, tops of feet, ankles, shins, calves, kneecaps, backs of knees, fronts of thighs, backs of thighs, buttocks, pelvic floor, tailbone, pubic bone, lumbar spine, abdomen, between the shoulder blades, chest, back of the neck, throat, back of the head, third eye. Feel the tips of your fingers, roots of fingers, palms, backs of hands, wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders. Feel your chin, jaw, lips, nose, cheeks, eyes, temples, forehead, top of the head. Now take a slow, deep Ujjayi inhale, fill your body up, and then hold your breath in for 12 seconds. When you complete your 12 seconds, it's an ah breath to release all the tension. Your practice is now complete. Namaste.